the purpose of the meeting. And part of my methodology for conducting this meeting, we're going to go through the complaints one by one, and I'll be looking for a motion each time. So we do have draft wording for motion, and I'm going to follow that order. So the first is the Nelson complaint, which is Appendix A document. And I'm looking for a motion on that. If that's a document.
That's Piercy's wife, you know there. Piercy Hatfield. MMP. Yes, she does. She's woke.
Very well with me. Your options are brief or
I'll move that on Nelson complaint.
Oh, it's Ron LeClaire.
do we have a seconder for that motion, trustee Nelson? I can read the full motion if you'd like. I'll read it into the record. In accordance with GECDSB regulation RGB 06, trustee code of conduct, and applicable sections of the Ontario Education Act, and taking into consideration the findings and recommendations of the investigator outlined in her report to the GECDSB Board of Trustees dated October 20th, 2023, regarding allegations of the breaches of the code by trustee Linda Chin, referred to in the report as the Nelson complaint. The GECDSB Board of Trustees finds that trustee Linda Chin has breached sections 3, 5, 6, 16, and 18 of the code because her comments at the February 28, 2023 meeting of the Greater Essex County Parent Involvement Council, as described by the investigator in the report, which evidence we accept, were offensive, disrespectful, and contrary to the foregoing mentioned sections of the code.
Factual.
Questions, trustee Burgess?
Madam Chair, it's just I actually it's a typo. It's not council. Yeah, it's a GEC. Right, and then it says Parent Involvement Council. So I just want to correct it. It's a committee.
I'll speak to this motion. I am in support of finding a breach on this particular complaint. I believe that of the complaints that we have before us, this is the most egregious. This is a complaint which involves a volunteer who's not a member of the board, a member of the public, who volunteered to be on a committee. And based on the evidence that was presented in the report, and from other witnesses that were present, that trustee Chin's behavior was unacceptable and is in fact a breach. Thank you.
Disagreeing.
Anyone else on the motion? Trustee Burgess?
Thanks, Madam Chair. I take no pleasure in my comments.
Yes, you do.
I also support finding that there has been a breach. And what isn't, I think, shown in the investigation was the comments also spoke to not upholding a decision of the opposition to a motion that had been discussed.
What were the comments? State the comments.
Just several nights before. To establish a committee, and the reason for the committee and the endorsement of the committee arising from a report that was commissioned by this board, paid for by this board, accepted by this board. And despite that report being accepted, there was the opposition to even its existence expressed at that GECDSB meeting as well, in front of
Wouldn't want to have opposition.
people who would have been excellent committee members. And the goal of the superintendent was to get a great committee member from our GECDSB. So it was really offensive. So I recognize.
Is it really offensive or really, really offensive?
We can address it with those who were offended. I think there should be sanctions that limit any exposure to GECDSB.
Anyone else on the motion?
Yes, can you hear me? It's Trustee Armstrong.
Okay,
Nancy.
How much of all of the troubles that Trustee Chin has to do with her struggling with choosing the correct words in English, or perhaps it's something that is foreign to us here in the manner that she speaks, but that is more, I don't know, how she has grown up for addressing things because she comes from a different culture. I don't know. The point is, how much of her difficulty has to do with the fact that she struggles with English?
Yeah.
And
Trustee Armstrong, that's not for us to determine.
Wouldn't want to be fair.
Investigator, when Trustee Chin and the investigator provided a final report, and we had it for several.
Parents support you, Linda.
okay, supplemental, Chair?
Only if it's directly to the motion.
Well, the information that Trustee Burgess just gave is new information, and I didn't quite hear it all because I was driving. But that was new information. Should it be under consideration?
No, it was just Trustee Burgess expressing her support for the motion.
Okay.
Trustee Buckler on the motion. As your name, Trustee Burgess.
It's not new information that I'm sharing, and in fact, when this complaint came in, there were several of us who were alerted to what happened, and so it's not new information. It's just not captured in the summary.
Trustee Buckler.
I'm just asking if we can gain some control of the audience side. It's hard to pay attention. And it's a difficult enough procedure we're going through without all the ramblings in the back.
Boo-hoo.
Well, I will say that if there is any improper behavior during the meeting, the Education Act allows me the authority to remove person or persons who demonstrate improper conduct. But I was hoping that this would not become necessary. The public is welcome to attend our board meetings as observers only. And I would ask you please to refrain from making comments. Thank you.
No, thank you.
On the motion, all those in support? Any opposed?
Evil.
Carried. Thank you.
Point of order, can I ask for a recording vote? Thank you.
Voted. Sorry, you can't. speak.
I asked it yesterday by email.
Sorry, no. So we required 2/3 vote and we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've met that criteria. Thank you.
Why can't a person of color speak?
Carried.
Point of order, Madam Chair. Do sanctions follow the breach? Thank you very much.
Gleefully hoping.
With regard to the Leclerc complaint number 1 regarding the education committee meeting. Trustee Leclerc,
I would make a motion that the complaint is not substantiated.
do we have a seconder? Trustee Buckler, would anyone like to speak on that? Speak none. Oh, Trustee Leclerc.
Yeah, so because I submitted this complaint and I still believe that there is some validity to it, I'm willing to accept the findings of the author in this particular complaint. That's the reason I'm making the motion to essentially withdraw my own complaint.
All those in support?
I support.
Carried. Thank you.
I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. A report on this.
Any opposed? Thank you. I have a clear complaint, number 1 from the April 4th, Operation 2023, Operations and Finance Committee meeting. That's page 9 of your report. For a motion. We just did the Education Committee complaint. That is on page 8 of your report. Yes, but it's broken down into the.
Sorry, it's a little jittery, guys. I'm not allowed to bring
So if you read the report, page 8 is the Education Committee meeting.
the camera stick holder, as it could be used as a weapon, they say. So it's handheld today.
And page 10 is the actual board meeting. So there's 3 components. It's been recommended that we do it separately. And I stated that at the beginning that we would.
Madam Chair, the intent of my motion was to address all 3 of those.
No, can't go back now.
I'm sorry.
A motion to amend something previously.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion to amend. My intent of my original motion was to essentially withdraw my entire complaint that I initially, which is labeled as complaint number 1. I know there's 3 different meetings. Yeah, I'm prepared to accept the findings in the report.
Of course you are.
No. Okay.
Ron's contradicting himself.
The first part is Operation.
But allowed to speak freely constantly, unlike Linda.
Operation Finance, then the board meeting, then the media conference. The report.
Madam Chair, I'm just in order. I might be ordered. So it, because the first one. I
Yet she
have
speaks
is,
English properly.
Education.
So it's page 8, 9, and 10 of the report.
So, Madam Chair, if I could, point of order, and again, my intention was to withdraw or to move on from this entire complaint. As I expressed, although I don't necessarily agree with all the findings in the section, I am prepared to accept that this is not something that we should be pursuing as a code of conduct complaint. That's my opinion. As the person who authored it initially, although I do question the report and I do question some of the behavior, I don't believe that I'm prepared to argue that it rises to the level of a code of conduct complaint.
Yeah, you better, because you can't.
To be clear, there are 4 parts to that. Like page 8, 9, 10, and 10. There are 4 components.
Ron knows what the outcome's going to be, so he's covering his butt.
No breach on all 4.
Also, if they reviewed the video footage from all these meetings, they would know that there was nothing illegally offensive from what was said from a dissenting voice of Linda Chin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I misunderstood the original thing. So I do support that there isn't enough to substantiate the and go with the report as far as the what I have in my order, 7, 8, and 9 on the media contact.
But I still want to
That's
try.
included in this 1 and 4.
I still want to try to
I
get her.
do find there is a breach. So, if we could
Look at her.
separate them out, feel
I do
okay.
too.
If not,
Me
I can
too.
support all 4. And I would support 3. And I can speak to that support of the media contact because I have gone through that piece of media and how that. was
That's the thing about
represented,
media. It's
whether or not
recorded.
the
Everybody
contact
could
doesn't
look
matter.
through it.
It was a breach in and of itself.
No, it wasn't.
I have made notes of records.
So you requested separate voting, and we can do that.
She's made notes and prepared to speak.
Or is this on the separation?
Yeah, so could we, if we're gonna go this route, could we separate 1, 2, and 3 into a bundle and then 4 into a separate? Because I think there's some support for, okay, so
Okay.
can we quickly vote on number 1, 2, and 3 that's not a breach?
Trustee McKinley and then trustee Buckler.
I was only gonna ask for clarification because I know I believe there's two different media pieces, so, right, so I'm just clarifying that for my own. Thank you.
Yes. Sorry, trustee Buckler.
Seconding this change, this amendment.
So can I call for the vote on the three components, that is the education committee meeting, the operations and finance committee meeting, and the board meeting, that there is no breach? You need me to read out the motion? Okay. All those in support,
I support.
that's carried. Thank you.
Support.
The Leclerc complaint regarding the media contact, page 10 of the original report. That's been moved and seconded. Seconded. Yeah. So we're just separating from both. Okay. So on that, would anyone like to speak? That. Burgess?
She made notes.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I don't support the conclusion of the investigation. I do support the allegation as printed on page 10, alleged that trustee Chin violated board policy by speaking with the media without the permission of the board. The discussion that was undertaken, and we will be getting to it on page 12, page as well. Whether or not somebody sought media and or was solicited by media is really not the point. The permission of the board to speak on very sensitive items, particularly on items that have been adopted, etc., and to
Etc.
uphold the
Soji.
of the board and to talk about
Sexualizing the children. No big deal. Etc.
The fact remains that there was an acceptance of the interview, which is a choice. And so I find for that reason, without any kind of permission, expressing opinions that were contrary to decisions being made, contrary to the Ontario Human Rights Code, contrary to values, contrary to our strategic priorities, without any permission. I think that's a breach that is clearly demonstrated with video evidence.
Where's the evidence?
Anyone else on the motion?
Nobody.
Then I'll call the vote in support of no breach.
Haha. No breach. Come on, every single weapon formed against us will fail.
Okay, trustee,
There's no.
could you repeat, this is trustee Armstrong, you cut out so I couldn't.
Excuse me, just
Please
trustee
repeat.
Armstrong, you're gonna have to wait a minute.
Madam Chair.
The motion was
Madam
no
Chair.
breach.
No, Madam Chair, we're now on the motion related to the media.
No,
and
no,
was
it
it
was
breach?
just split for voting. So now.
To be clear, my comments, Madam Chair, if I can make my comments, were on the board, which is the allegation that trustee Chin violated board policy by speaking with the media without permission of the board. And so that's what I spoke.
So the motion on the floor is no breach.
No
All
breach.
those in support of no breach.
Oh,
I support.
only one.
That's defeated.
So they all,
So are there any other motions with regard to the section?
they
On page
all,
10 of the original
except
report.
Nancy.
with regard to the media contract.
Say Linda breached.
Yeah, no motion. We've defeated. There was one order. Trustee Burgess,
I'd like to move the language that was supplied to us as far as both, uh, that there was a breach found by speaking with the media without permission of the board. I would move that there was a breach.
What was the content?
we have support for the motion. We have no support, so we have no.
You clowns.
I did. I asked. There was no seconder.
Come on, guys. We just gotta find guilty.
Thank you. So now the motion on the floor is for a breach with regard to the section of the report on the media contact. On that, trustee Burgess,
I will just say that I made my comments when I voted opposition. So they still stand. I think that particularly on contentious issues, particularly on items that deal with
Sexualizing children.
allegations of performance, allegations of our staff grooming and things like that, expressing
Factual.
opinions that are contrary to our roles and what is stated in our strategic priorities, that there's definitely a breach.
You're groomers.
okay. We need to point out the code of conduct section. So I would say that you're speaking to, correct me if I'm wrong, the integrity and dignity of office, section 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, and 6. 7 refers to professional development. So I'm assuming you have your code. So sections 3, 4, 5, and 6. For the reasons stated. Regard to upholding the dignity of the office and ensuring that there are no personal demeaning or disparaging remarks against the board of trustees. 3, 4, 5. Okay. We clear? Okay. All those in support of the breach with regard to sections 3, 4, 5, and 6, the reasons stated, all those in support. Put your hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion carried. Thank you. With regard to the Cook complaint, appendix C, page 11. Report. This was undetermined in the investigator's report, left to the discretion of the trustees.
Madam Chair. This is
Trustee Cook,
yes, I would like to make a motion to remove my complaint.
sorry, that's not appropriate.
Yes.
And documented by the board. So the only motion that would be appropriate would be for breach or no breach.
May I ask a question? When trustee Leclerc removed his.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You corrupt group.
Remove his complaint. He made a motion for no breach.
Point of order.
Okay, so
Point of order.
you guys, I'm on the phone.
Point of order.
trustee Leclerc was named, he can
Go ahead.
respond.
For clarification, I said I was making a motion that there was no breach. It was my complaint, so essentially, I was withdrawing my complaint.
Oh, essentially.
Which, for all intents and purposes, I was withdrawing my complaint. But the only way, my phraseology was that there was no breach.
Correct.
So I would like to make a motion that there was no breach. I would also just like to remind everyone, I'm on the phone. I have missed it's hit and miss, and I've never been asked once how I was gonna vote. So I would like to make a motion that there was no breach.
Is there
Amen.
support for the motion?
All the parents supported. Yeah, support.
The first hand up on the motion. Anyone like to speak to it? I will. I'll just say that I remember this situation quite well because trustee Cook spoke to me about it. And in reading the report, I found that there were breaches of section 6, 12, 13, 17, and 18. 6, 12, 13, 17, and 18. And in the report on page 11, there was evidence provided in 4 different parts of the report. Although the conclusion was that trustees should make their own determination because it was a 5% meeting. But there are 4 different parts to the report that support breach. So I won't be supporting it. Anyone else?
Madam Chair?
Trustee Armstrong on the motion.
Yes, if trustee Cook is wanting to suggest it to withdraw, I will support her withdrawing it.
Sorry, I've explained several times and I've explained previously to
Participants
trustee
are
Cook.
waiting in the lobby. To admit all participants in the lobby, press *2 1.
The report is the
Hello.
property
Hello.
of the board and trustee Cook.
Okay, whatever the wording is, I support no breach. Does that make sense?
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Anyone else on the motion? Okay, then I'm going to call the vote for the motion, which is no breach. All those in support?
I support. Support.
Okay, that's carried, no breach. With regard to the Leclerc complaint regarding no authority to speak for the board, this is Appendix D and page 12 of the original report. Trustee Leclerc,
I move that there is a breach.
thank you. Do we have support? Trustee Buckler on the motion. Trustee Leclerc,
So in this particular circumstance, I do believe there is a breach. Trustees are expected to discharge their duties loyally, faithfully, and impartially in a manner that will inspire public confidence in the ability and integrity of the board. During her interview, she
Nobody told her to
indicated
shut
there
up.
was no reason to teach children to lie and to hide from their parents.
Yeah.
Yes.
if there's one more word from the gallery, I will have to ask you to leave. Thank you.
She indicated that the board is not listening to parents, that she disagrees that parents should be prohibited, parents should be prohibited from attending public meetings. And that
Makes sense.
she had been a subject of a code of conduct complaint made against her. With respect to the code of conduct complaint, That was a breach of confidentiality because it was in the public, it was in private realm at that point. And in terms of her speaking to the media, the chair is the spokesperson of the public on behalf of the board, unless otherwise determined by the board. And in this case, she spoke to the media and spoke against decisions that were made, did not inspire confidence in the board and in public education. And therefore, in my opinion, it is a breach.
Thank you. Anyone else to this motion? Trustee Burgess?
Thanks, Madam Chair. Again, pleasure that it's, I had to watch the video several times, over and over, so that I could be reminded what was said last year. And because it was perceived as something that was truthful and real and carrying weight.
That's what facts are.
At one point, kind of aided and abetted by the leading questions, I'm going to say. What I heard expressed by Trustee Chin with some gravity was that we've gone, look, we're pushing indoctrination over education. She agreed with that. That was suggested to her. She said she'd be glad to disseminate a petition that was called to stop classroom grooming because she thought
good idea.
Our staff was engaged in that kind of activity. And she'd be glad to give it to the director of education and those that needed it. Totally inappropriate. I want to reiterate, I heard that she thought it was wrong that we, the board, are teaching the kids to lie to the parents, teaching kids to lie to the parents. We are separating parents from their children. She expressed opinions that there was something wrong with this current education system and that change it. She also agreed with the interviewer that she was undergoing a vendetta, which is a comment on her collegiality with the board.
We're experiencing this vendetta right now.
I found that alarming. There was references to having a true representation of her constituents and of a majority of parents.
Who wouldn't want that?
Group of parents. As you know, Madam Chair, we don't have constituents in that we are a board, not a council. The word constituent, we are reminded, doesn't even appear in the Education Act. So professing support for something based on no real evidence was an abusive use of media and representing an opinion that just doesn't align with our values or strategic priorities. Or
their values are not aligned with parents.
We have things like the Ontario College of Teachers standards. We have professional standards in every single profession, assuming that our staff is grooming.
It's not an assumption.
Egregious. And expressing that is unbelievably hurtful.
It's a fact.
Our staff.
The truth hurts.
Our staff are professionals, and we have standards, and they can be held to account. Any of that criminal, professional, all kinds of accountability. So even the
That's why you want a consensus right now.
The trustee that was speaking. So now I'm going to ask you all please to leave.
No.
Stand down. That's all right.
No, you can't harm the public from a school board
I have the
meeting.
authority under the Education Act. You
No.
disrespect-
Under the Human Rights Act, her human rights have been violated, and you know, we have the right to be here
I'm
and
going to
stay.
recess the meeting for 5 minutes. And,
No.
Corrupt
power.
Trustee,
Piercy Hatfield's wife, are you a big gambler at the casino? Are you a diamond member? I would bet that you are.
You have to normalize it. It's not normal.
Yes. You are all groomers except Linda. She's the only one standing up for God's rights. You all be judged by the King of Kings, all of you. Shame on each and every one of you. We are all watching regardless of where we are.
Right, bullies.
Each of you are on notice. Do you understand? You're all on notice. You are not going to let parents stop protecting the children. I'm sorry that your heart is so empty of morale. All of you have been depleted of moral fortitude. Where is your morality? Where you stand for grooming of the children. One person is standing up for the rights of parents and the children's innocence, and you want to destroy it all. Even the education minister, Stephen Lecce, said it's the parents that are in charge. And you are trying to circumvent that. You will all be judged.
Okay, everyone, this meeting's over.
No, we're not leaving.
I don't want to get the police
Go
involved.
get to the procedure. Go get the police.
I don't want to have the police. You know what?
Get them.
They should be the.
Piercy's wife, we will be watching you closely.
Yeah.
Linda, we love you and we support you. We will not stop supporting you, Linda. We promise. Your evil will not prevail as hard as you try with your consensus of conformity up here. That does not make something morally correct or superior. As you stand there with your judging eyes thinking you have a heads up by removing us, and you will, just know you will always and continuously be watched, judged, and eternity is a long time.
Okay, everyone, this meeting's over. I'm gonna need you to leave.
Better get more people. We're taxpayers. We vote for this lady, and we're not having her being insulted in this way.
We paid for
She's
the,
been fighting cancer. She's been fighting. These people who are supposed to be supporting us, we voted for them. I didn't vote for those, but I voted for this lady because I believed in her. She's been fighting cancer, but you can't mention that. And I say that it is linguistic
Yes,
racism.
yes.
Because they can't understand when she speaks sometimes. They make fun of her. There's a gentleman at the end there, Leclerc. He's always saying things behind her back. He's laughing at her.
Censorship of the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
It's disgusting. Yeah.
This is a witch hunt.
A witch hunt. Yeah, where's her human rights? Where's her human rights? She has the right for somebody to defend her. Isn't this a kangaroo court right now? Yeah.
It is. Nobody here, no parent supports you guys. Nobody. Nobody. If they knew, you keep talking about you have evidence. Show the evidence of what was egregious and offensive. The truth, the curriculum that is being thrust upon these innocent children, the curriculum in the books that can't be read in here because the words in the books are offensive to you, but it's not offensive to 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 5-year-olds. It is ridiculous that you are in contempt of your own souls.
I want to read a little section that maybe didn't get quite highlighted. When you guys, just hold on, I think you guys might want to hear this. A little section that wasn't highlighted when you guys were having your little kangaroo court. Trustee Leclerc stated in his written complaint that he interpreted Trustee Kin's question as an attack on Superintendent Howard's credibility. This conclusion is not supportable. That's why he withdrew. That's why he withdrew his complaint. It's because he knows he doesn't have a leg to stand on. They're lying and bullying. The bullying is happening on this board. You say don't bully in schools, you're bullying your own trustees. Have you no shame? But let me go on. So in part B of that section, Dr. Howard explained in response to Trustee Armstrong's question that some books are selected at the school board level and central board staff do not have control over all of them, all the items available in schools. Wow, that's what we've been saying. Effectively acknowledging that there may be some inappropriate materials in some school libraries. So thank you for this document that states exactly what we've been coming here for a year telling you to do. Get the bad books out of the schools, protect children's innocence, and stop this woke garbage. Thank you.
Amen. And if you allow these books to stay in, you are complicit in the grooming and ruining of innocent children's lives, which you've already done. Get off your butts and do something morally correct instead of collecting a paycheck and getting a board of consensus, trying to eliminate the one voice of opposition. Not illegal opposition, just opposition that you don't like. This is not the Fourth Reich, even if you want to make it that way. Corrupt.
I just want to say something. The number one step in grooming is secrets. Right from the Greater Essex County District School Board's website, at any age, a child can change their gender and their name. And the school.
So the police are coming. So the best thing you can do when the police arrive is be sitting quiet. Because then they don't have a leg on us. They couldn't look at this after the fact, but when they arrive here, they won't see anybody yet.
Quick question. What do you think about what you're seeing here tonight?
Well, I think it's a board of conformity that's trying to get a consensus to eliminate the one dissenting voice, the one truthful, factual dissenting voice, albeit she may have a linguistic issue with translation, but her facts are on point, in line with what the education minister, Stephen Lecce, has said, that parents have the ultimate control over their children and should not have secrets kept in schools. This is by the education minister here in our country. Yet the board is going against what he's saying. The board is pushing to eliminate the one voice speaking for the parents, while at the same time the board is making it very difficult for parents in general to come to meetings, making it at odd times, making it virtual half the time. Any time a parent has something of issue to say legally through speaking in question form, they shut it down. As we saw here, if it's shown, you could see Ron LeClaire backing down, altering, having the opportunity to speak freely and make motions. But when dissenting voices want to do the same thing, they are shut down because they are not allowed to share their opinion.
Okay, thank you. Can I get your name?
Stephen Gifford.
With a V? Stephen with a V?
Yes.
GECDSB?
Correct.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Just guys are aware.
100%. They will not get back in. This board needs to disassemble. This board needs to be shut down. There's too many of them.
They can remove that first, but they can't do the entire gallery, so they have to single out. So we're being quiet.
And it's all gonna stop. They will not be going back in. We are going to make sure that that's not gonna and they remain with their innocence intact. Thank you, Mr. Magnificent.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's no liberty.
Jay,
Over here.
seeing some of what she read.
We can talk about it.
So the police will be on their way, and let's see if we all get booted or if we can make a stand as parents.
How many times has to do this?
Sorry, that.
How many times? All the time. And the big farmer, it's really big. They lie all the time.
Yeah.
She's the only diverse person here, right? Linda's the only diverse person on the board.
That's just what's on the counters. Well, we can't do that unless we actually fight back against each corruption. And there are ideologies and agendas that.
We got Menzies here from Rebel News, which is good. We'll get some good coverage of this spread out and about. of course, tune in here to the Truth Trumpet, help it grow, but it really doesn't matter where you tune into as long as the information gets out. Yes, let's offer our quick support for Linda. Excuse me, sir.
Oh, thank you.
We love you. We support you.
Thank you so much.
Stay strong. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. But we are with you. Especially the Lord. Huh? Shame on all of you. I wonder how you guys will sleep tonight. Will the Lord enter your dreams?
Okay, this all inside retirement. I can't. I can't.
I know the evil that they display through consensus of conformity.
Well, Satan wants her to shut up, right? Satan wants
I
her.
know.
That's what this is about.
She needs to know she has love and support.
Look at
It's time to activate your heart.
You know, the problem is, they're all under the board and what you have to say and what you have to do, because if you don't, guess what? Your
Yeah,
job.
you'll get targeted.
Yeah.
Yep.
But good for her.
That's what they want to do to show everyone else. You want to be a dissenting voice,
Yeah.
you'll get targeted too.
This is all Satan's watch. This is all Satan.
Yeah.
Trying to. Don't let him win. You don't
No.
let Satan win.
You know, see, everyone lining up to show support for the one person, Linda, standing up for the parents, for the children, for the innocent ones. Amen. Oh,
I'm sorry, here.
okay.
I'm
I'm gonna sit down now.
In effect, speaking for the board.
How's it going? Could be better, but I'm good.
These are the same people that that targeted people with the vaccine, right? Don't forget, they're not on our side.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yes. Tommy Robinson.
Tommy Robinson is awesome. Good to see you.
I'm so sorry. That's okay. So you know what I thought? Why doesn't someone take the time who's real versed in this, just take the people we use and tell them what's really going on? These people know a certain mechanism liability, which actually means something. Does the police station have copies of the notice of liabilities that were served to them? Does every officer know too?
No.
Yeah, not every officer.
No, they usually chuck them in the garbage.
So what do you think? I mean, with these guys, listen, you know.
I'm always willing to speak with people, but I have on many occasions, and just like the other board members, they are more interested in their paycheck and not ruffling feathers. The feathers meaning the people that sign their checks.
Right.
Yeah, so they'll work for the board, right?
And you'll do, look what they do to one. Look what they do. That's what we do. They are our. It's our. Have grants from about something representing many people.
Well, CTV shows up late to the party. CTV. They can just shoot now and frame it like more disgruntled parents.
The Windsor Star did, but
Yeah, that was a decent article.
which I thought
Can you speak up, please? I'm sorry, we're having trouble hearing you, officer.
I'm Sergeant Briscoe.
Yes.
Oh, Briscoe.
Been asked to leave. So we're not gonna continue the meeting until you guys leave.
Yeah, but so which hat?
What?
Isn't this supposed to be for the public?
It's a public meeting.
You can tell an individual to leave.
Yeah, it's inaccurate what you're
Everybody
saying.
go outside and talk to me outside.
No, this is what we state. It's inaccurate what you're saying. The Education Act reads explicitly that you can remove an individual or individuals from the meeting. You cannot clear the gallery. We are here in public session. What's that? They don't have that.
That's illegal.
So then you don't have that authority to ask to leave in that way. If they go back, if you can ask them to identify
What could happen to your?
who the individual or individuals are, who they believe are actually causing disorder in the room, then we can ask those people to leave and they'll be happy to leave. But they need to identify them.
Correct. They just identify everybody in the gallery.
They can't.
No.
That wasn't the case. That was not true. We were here.
Know the law.
Physically move us.
I don't, Trustee Leclerc would know this rule, hopefully. He should know this rule. You can't clear the gallery. No, you can't. Read the law that you actually are oath to. Oh, yeah, see ya. See ya, washout.
Yeah.
Just keep going home and quit your job at where you're at.
God, you don't say things like that. We apologize.
Not
He wasn't talking to the officer, he was talking to the trustee. The trustless lead.
Now he's gonna identify.
You're defending your children too, right?
I'm a diabetic.
Please don't go out to say that.
Okay, you want that on your hands?
They're here to protect and
Oh,
serve.
yes. Yeah, you want that on your hands?
Absolutely.
Say, hi.
Say that passion.
My wife, I feel about an hour or so.
Better forward.
It's like,
Please no. That's just my.
I got a responsibility to my grandson.
They're here.
But now they want to make it like they usually do. The story is, you know, there's roughneck people that are disrupting the good meetings that they're trying to accomplish.
Right. Well, listen, if they go through reporting service, if they have kids in this area, and if they have kids in the school board, they'll question it pretty soon. Oh, you're grooming my kid?
Good point.
You're grooming my kid? Oh, what do we- Actually, we should
Ask these officers, that's what I was just gonna
Yeah,
ask.
do you have kids in the school board? Go for it.
Officers, do any of you have children? If you have children, you should be gravely concerned about the education they're thrusting upon them that's fully grooming and sexualized. And they're trying to eliminate the one voice that's speaking up against it. We need you to serve and protect the citizenry.
Shorter one, man. Yes.
Parents rely on you, officers.
Actually, can you have any of those materials
Can we show?
with the books? Sure, that's what I was just asking Jeremy for. Can you hold this for me on while I'm doing it?
Okay.
Okay. Just wrap your fingers around the back there. Got it. Yeah, let's do a column though. I want to call them over here.
everyone. We're just talking. Was it speaking personal? No, it's not a personal thing. It's documentation on the board here. I'll show you. This is the material they're pushing. She's just speaking up and they're trying to eliminate it. If you have children or plan on having children in the public school, which I attended as a child,
You're asking me my person. You just said if I. Are you asking me a question personally?
no, well, it's more rhetorical. If you have or will have children,
I don't have
I'm letting you know this is the material.
I'm a police officer. I'm unbiased. My job is to protect the peace and enforce the law. I don't have an
Okay,
opinion
let me
about
ask
this.
you a legal question.
Sure.
If I decided to get naked and go to a schoolyard and dance around, is that okay?
See, hypothetical question is what you're asking. And that's called causing a disturbance. Does that happen? Would you like to provide a statement saying that somebody did that?
No.
That's because it's a rhetorical question. So we'll deal with what's happening here in reality. I'm not going to comment on this because
That's happening in reality too, but
This is happening. And
Those are in
all
schools
schools
right now.
here right now.
I don't work for the
This is
school board.
curriculum.
I don't work for the school board. I work for the Windsor Police.
Well, I understand.
I want to step back.
I think he's sharing it as Canadian to Canadian about what they're doing to our kids.
I get it.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't have an opinion. I am unbiased. You can step back there.
Kindergarten through grade 3.
Yeah, let's go, Stephen. Good job.
I don't think I did that good of a job.
No.
It'll get through.
There's a lot of things that I find the clerk on. So if I can, what was the comment about gamble?
Well, Rick Nichols called me right before, like I said, I was saying because he's talking to Pearson,
Right,
Hatfield, who was an MPP,
right.
former before Andrew Dowie
Okay.
took his position. And candidly, he was saying his wife, who's labeled in almost all documentation as Simcoe is her last name,
Right.
not Hatfield, but how she loves to go to the casino and loves to gamble.
Okay.
He had stated that.
You're cutting us off at the knees. You're cutting us off at the knees. Now they weaponize that against us. I agree with you 100%. I do. And I think these people are garbage, to be perfectly honest. But for Elton's sake and others, just we appreciate you so much. It's true, but it's like when I tell my wife she burnt the meal last week. Say what we like.
One comment maybe out of left field.
No,
I think the rest were good.
no, you know what? You bring far more to the table. You really do. You do.
There's always something that slips out of my mouth that maybe shouldn't. But that's part of the growing pains, and I can admit that there's many flaws I have that I work on, and
I went to the art encounter just recently.
Did you?
Yes, I did. It was good. It was well done. Yeah.
It'd be just cool to see the size.
Yes,
Just,
it's awe
it's one thing to look at the numbers on
Yeah.
paper and see pictures, but to walk through a replica.
So I got a friend who's biting into some weird theology. And he thinks the flood was local, which flies right in the face of all scripture, Because why would God destroy the world and sit in the rainbow and say, I'll never do this again if we still have local floods, And, hold on for a second.
That's local, not global.
Yeah, gotta find the picture if I can. Come on. Gonna find it. There we are. That is one big boat. So, anyways, it is awe-inspiring. And ironically, they had a flood.
Did they get in the boat?
On the boat, they had some stuff flooded. So,
Oh, in the boat.
all right, let's go. I'm sorry. Yeah, you could be doing that.
It's all right. Did you hand me these?
Did it work?
A little bit,
A little bit?
a little bit. Didn't work in his heart, but
I didn't think it would.
I got some words out, and hopefully it, same time I was kind of praying in my head, so I hope that it sticks in his mind afterwards.
Yeah.
It'll bother the tree. Yeah, I hope so, but
Somebody's gonna have to stand for public safety. Be like, what? Right? And it's become criminal really fast. Watch. All they need is one cop.
well, and it shows whoever watches this will see, because Jeremy was holding it, that I'm showing, and like, do you care? You know, so, well, you asked my opinion, I worked with it, you know, it shows another side too, like, why?
Right.
I think so, it's same names, father or brother.
His brother.
I'm gonna have to look that up, which is why I looked up Piercy Hatfield, the former MP, who's, Gail's, husband, right? She goes by Gail Hatfield here, but on Wikipedia, it's Gail Simcoe. She likes to separate herself. But they're two peas in a pod that are hitting in two different platforms, trying to bring the wokeness up. But that's why I made that kind of offhanded comment of the gambles, because I've heard from good sources that she loves to gamble at the casino, which, you know.
Oh, yeah. No, so they can't continue without.
No, she has to stay. They just want us gone so they can steamroll over her and in happiness and bliss. I'm gonna go get a little bit of what they're covering there, Linda. Unedited. Thank you.
Hi, Steve, I'm Robin.
Hi, Robin. Good. How you doing? Yeah. I know, the health, yeah. About the gambling, yes. Every once in a while I say something maybe offhanded, but I apologize. It's true, but I apologize.
I know you're
I'm
always
learning.
really good. That's why I said he's all over Facebook trying to educate people. It's so important. I love it.
Thank you.
Yep. You think that's the way I'm like, no, I'm about this. There's a gift to teach me.
Yep, exactly. And so I was hoping to have another shirt for tonight, but the literally is ready for me to pick up 10 minutes before I got here. And I wasn't able to for here, so I'll have different shirts. I can't record. So. Get more. You have more?
And send an email to all trustees accusing me guilty, and ask other trustees to give me sanction. And
Guilty of what?
guilty of all these complaints. Yeah, and it breached the rules seriously, because they should respect the investigation report, other than use this kind of emails to push others. It biased others' decisions. So I said, this meeting has to stop, because the impartiality and the fair is not supported. Is how to say that is
Biased?
yeah, it's biased. So there is no way for me to get a equal hearing. Yeah, but they don't agree. They just they see nothing wrong with him sending the emails, and it's not fair for me, because they don't allow me to speak. It's based on the policy. I agree, but the policy is based on that. My response is included in the report, but my response was not included, my final response. So that means it's kind of one side, yeah.
The fix is in.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Linda.
Oh, thank you.
Linda, you're muzzled though. You're told that you can't speak to us.
And then,
You are being muzzled. You're told that you cannot speak to us. There's a certain speaker up there and you're told to stand down.
yeah,
So how can you do that? I voted for you as a trustee. You're in my area. I voted for you for a reason and you're standing up for some of us. No, none of the other people do. But when they tell you that you can't say anything, that you have to sit there and be quiet, I'm looking at you and thinking, I voted for you. Why aren't you saying anything? But look at where we are today. You say something and this is what happens.
yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah. But there is rules we should follow. There is policy we should follow. And we should uphold the reputation of the board. But I believe the reputation of the board is not equal to the reputation of of other trustees or administration. If I found anything wrong, it affected the quality, education, I should speak out to make the education better. That's what I do to uphold the reputation of the board. That's what I'm doing, and uphold the responsibility and accountability as a trustee. That I think that's my point.
That's your
Yeah.
job.
Thank you, Linda.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
Can I ask you a quick question too? I'll take you back to the end of last year, one of the last board meetings. I can't remember verbatim what was said, but I remember watching in awe when you were speaking and Ron Leclerc, it sounded like he said, shut up, shut her mic off. And that upset you, the words he was saying, and rightfully so, would upset me as well.
Yeah.
Can you take us back to how did you feel in that moment as a trustee, thinking you had an equal voice, right?
Yeah, I think I was bullied.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I was hurt so much. But that occasion, and because of that, on the contrary, trustee Ron Leclerc sent formal complaint towards me. There is no reason, right? Yeah. He bullied me. It's verified in the investigation report. And then he told media I breached the rules many times. Always breach.
Did he not breach the rules by the way he spoke?
I think so. I think he breached, but I never sent any complaint towards them because I think we have more important thing to do.
Well, there definitely is more important things, but they're obviously trying to eliminate the one voice that will speak for the parents.
Yeah.
And for common sense morality of what's right for children. They're trying to silence that so they can have a conformity of a consensus panel. So we thank you for speaking up for the parents. Perhaps because they're not going to relent because they have an agenda, right? I wonder if there is a statute of limitations on bringing something against the way Ron spoke against you at the end of last year. And if there isn't a statute of limitations, that perhaps some filing should be put in against his breach and any other board members that breached, trustee members that breached their position against you. I think it's worth looking into.
I personally don't have this kind of,
I understand.
Because it costs money, but
Look how much money this costs here, right? With all these public servants that are here.
Yeah, maybe I have to do something, file complaint against them, and to verify who is right, who is wrong. Yeah, I know it's difficult.
It is. I'm going to pray on it personally. I'm not sure if you're a praying person, but perhaps you can pray on what the proper response is moving forward on how to combat in a legal, lawful manner against these people that are trying to expunge you from the seat. Because that's ultimately what I believe they're trying to do, to get rid of you in order to have somebody else in here that will be a consensus voice, which then the parents we'll have nobody if that's the case. So that's why your soul is so important here, and we will not stop supporting you. Just so you understand.
You know, it's funny, if you're a business owner and sold a place magazine online, you might be facing a lot. One last question, I might turn to our constituents.
You don't have to worry or even thank any of us.
What do you mean?
You standing tall is enough to get parents out, because as you probably know, a lot of parents, we all get caught up in the daily humdrum of our own lives, and we just assume that there's people in place that will take care of things in the right way. The problem is that's over time, gunk gets in the cogs of wheels, and if there's nobody there to oversee, no one proper, if there's not a mechanic, if you just put a schlub, someone who knows nothing, in the wheelhouse, all the mechanisms will eventually fall apart. You're, in my opinion, the only person keeping the cogs and the wheels clean in this mechanism of failure right now. And you are so needed, so loved, and so appreciated. I just want you to know. Absolutely. Just, if you can, and I know it's difficult, especially with everything going on, right? Just pray, and God will provide you with everything you need. We love you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll be here each and every time. Steve Gifford. Pleasure. Be strong.
My husband loves to pair.
I could set up shop.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going to be happening now. If they're just going to wait for people to leave. Let's get the papers and show Briscoe. Can I see those papers again? I want to show Briscoe. He's talking to some parents there, and he's not in this district, but I heard he has kids that go to a school in a different district, but it's all the same. So let's just show them a little bit of the education. How you doing, Officer Briscoe? I overheard you say you have children not in this district, but in another district. You can just take a look at. You can. What do you want me to say, man? No, you don't have to say. Sure, but I just want you to be. I'm not sure if you're aware.
I'm aware
of what.
I'm pretty politically savvy. I pay attention.
And I'm not trying to infer you're not. I have no idea, but I'm just trying to
do comment on stuff. I can't.
No, but aware in a world of censorship, which is what they're doing. They're trying to censor her and get rid of her, right? So people, she's the only one speaking up against this right here, and without her, this is already thrust upon the children, right? I mean, look at this is the age right here.
Do you understand why I was called here? I'm basically here to keep the peace.
Sure. Well, I mean,
I can't have an opinion as a representative of the Windsor Police Service. I understand your concerns. I understand your concerns.
But you're in a position, and I'm not expecting you to, sir, but you are in a position of authority. And as someone who, for me, my heart is entrusted to God, right? That's my authority over you, over this board, and over everyone else. It's God and God's morals that I follow.
So I'd say that most of us follow God's morals, I would think.
Well, not the ones on the board here. Well, you're right. It is and was, but that's being depleted every day. And with boards like this that are pushing this material, when we read this material to the board, which is why they call you guys over
why?
last year, because we,
Why were we called today though? Why did they call us today? Because they're saying that everybody was shouting over them.
no, when they were making mistakes or contradicting themselves, you might have had a couple people that went like snickered, right?
We clapped, we cheered.
A clap here and there. Yep. When they made, I wouldn't say a right decision, but they stood down on one leg they didn't have to stand on.
Who's the trustee, by the way?
Linda Chin. She's the only one, and they're trying to get rid of her. She's the one. Yeah. And
I want to have all the facts.
Yep. And they've been trying to expunge her, get rid of her. In fact, Ron LeClaire, I don't know why nothing was brought up against him, because he breached the rules here last year, and continuously he told her verbally on camera, it's recorded. I don't know why nothing's been done, but he told her, he bullied her. He told her to shut up and shut her mic off in an authoritative voice, very angrily. He made her cry on camera, right? Just like she was today, as they're all bullying her, not letting her speak. Every time someone made a mistake, like Ron or Kathy Cook, or Burgess, they were allowed to speak freely and clarify. But every time Linda was trying to speak, they'd shut her down. And they're trying to, like I said, get rid of her off this board so they can replace her with another voice of conformity, so they can push these things through and call it the opposite of what it is. Say, she's bullying. And from their perspective, she's bullying, she's saying hateful things, calling them groomers. Well, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck, right? This is grooming, right? Little children should have innocent, childish things in their mind, right? We had one day a year of sex ed, right there at the bottom.
Kindergarten, grade 3.
And these are all the schools. I mean, if your child is not in this district, but these are all the schools.
My children are not in this district.
This book is in all of these schools right now. And it's, every day the damage. Yes. Jeremy Palco.
When was this?
Here, who, sorry?
What's the date on this? May 13th. Last year?
That one might have been last year, or it might have been a couple months ago. Yeah, well, they've been pushing this stuff and adding more and more and more. When you have drag queens coming into schools doing story time hour with the children bouncing on their laps, and it turns out the majority, not some of the time, the majority of the time, these drag queens they bring in are already convicted pedophiles or sexual criminals. And nothing is being done except for allowing them to come in.
Take a photo of this because it's good for my report.
Absolutely.
Everybody is.
The more on the record, the better. I mean, we're recording here too. Yeah. I mean, no one here is trying to cause a disturbance or do anything illegal. We're parents standing up for children.
We're just reacting to what they told us. We come in here and we ask you politely to leave. Nobody wants to leave. That's fine. And we try to find alternatives because we don't want to physically bring people unless they have. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at right now. I don't know what they're doing with their meetings. If they're going to reconvene or if they're holding the meeting. I don't know. So right now we're in a pause.
I would guess since they have power, they're going to hold a pause as well to see if people disperse, and if not, they'll cancel the meeting.
Outspoken wise, like the last thing we want to do is physical. That's the last. So if there's no other options, that's what we would do.
Yes, that is the end result that we have to see.
We have to, yeah. That's if what we're going to do. Well, there's no meeting. You're still on the premise, then it's under the Trespass Property Act. Fill the premise when directed. So if they say no meeting.
Well, they would have to officially cancel the meeting, though.
So I'll wait. I don't know what's going on. We're back there talking, right? So,
now, what would happen if they say it's canceled, wait till we leave, and then reconvene? Wouldn't that be inappropriate or illegal? Since we know that they can't have the entire legally.
You think that me, as a police officer, deals with the Education Act on a daily basis?
No.
You know what I do for a living? I'm chasing bad guys 24/7. I'm not, this is the first time I've been in this room. I'm not familiar with the Education Act. It's not something I need to worry about on a daily basis.
Well, if
So
you're
if you want me to
familiar
talk
with,
about Trespass Property Act, I can tell you about that, but
fair. Do you know who Stephen Lecce is? Lecce?
I've heard the name.
He's the education minister, right, of Canada, and he came out just a few months ago because this has been ongoing for a year and a half, 2 years now, longer, but in the public eye for a year and a half, 2 years. He came out on, I believe it was Global TV, and stated emphatically that parents have the ultimate authority over their children, regardless of what building they're in or not, and they are not subjugated to be kept secrets through schools and what the board is doing. He came out and stated that, yet the board is going directly against the education minister's words and conducting hearings like this, trying to push good people out that are speaking against the SOGI curriculum with a sexual orientation.
That sounds like a logical statement. That would resonate with me as a parent.
Well, sure. But, and then that's the problem, right? The people watch CTV, the mainstream media, and they go, oh, that makes sense. That's right. Now I can go back to my work, watching the game. Everything's taken care of. But they're going directly against the words that the education minister is saying.
Vote the trustees up.
Well,
when's their term? How long are their terms? 2 years? No, yeah, that's like, that sounds like they need to be pointed out that no one agrees to them. No, it seems like you guys got a pretty good sized group here. I would think that. Oh, the seats were filled. Yeah. Okay. So looks like a majority of parents probably still the same.
Well, yeah, that's the unfortunate thing is the majority of parents do, but the majority of parents, the way they've altered the meeting times, they've made it very difficult, right? During COVID, they lavished at having virtual meetings so you couldn't take part, shutting voices down every time someone tries to speak. Like, for example, that gentleman was just reading some of the material of the books. No, sorry, Jeremy Palco. He was speaking to the board, right, as a guest, reading the curriculum. They shut him down, saying it was offensive, the things he was saying to them, and it is offensive. I mean, reading this stuff, and no, kids shouldn't be reading it, but all he was doing was reading the material they're allowing, and they found him in contempt, not allowed him to speak, and that's what they do. And then, of course, the media cuts and edits that to make it look like, well, they're shutting down someone who's not speaking in the proper forum, in the right way, addressing the proper statute that they want to be addressed. They just shut it down, and the media quarterbacks this agenda that's being pushed, in my opinion, from a higher source, higher than our country. This is a UN-driven, WEF-driven agenda that's happening throughout the West. You see it in the States, right? I don't know if you see it, but right. And the problem is if people don't stand up, and there's many different subjects. You guys face this as well with the mandates when it came across. How many people, like some of these board members, Nancy, who's not here, she was on the phone. She was also a little bit, not outspoken like Linda, but she's one of those people, like most humans, that they feel something in their heart, but then they look at the playing field and go, I see what's happening to her. If I step out and do the right thing, well, what about all the time I spent getting my education, my mortgage? What about my pension? And all of a sudden their voice is quelled and there's no soul left to speak up for what's right, what they know is right. And they start rationalizing why they need to agree with the board, because after all, there's a boat to be paid for, or a vacation, or a child's education, whatever it might be. And that's the problem, is we need voices of people who know when a mandate is wrong, when doing this is wrong. People have to sacrifice. It's unfortunate, but we have to sacrifice ourselves sometimes in order to do the morally correct thing.
Yeah, but you have to do it, sorry. You have to do it within the bound of like what's right, morally, legally, all this shit. We can't start jumping up and shouting all kinds of shit at these people. We're at a meeting. We're at a public meeting. You get up there and start shouting about this, that, and the other thing. It's not going to help. Well, what happens? They want to kick us out. They want to kick us all out because some people we're all pissed. We're all pissed, but we do it out on the sidewalk. Signs, get everybody out on the sidewalk. In here, we got to follow this shit. But we can laugh, we can clap, we can do whatever. But they gave us 2 warnings.
They're going to do it regardless.
They gave us 2 warnings.
Yeah,
CTV, Rebel News, Windsor Star.
CTV got called out. You guys got it. Rebel News is already here.
CBC was here, not in camera form.
Because he's the one that she had that meeting. I'm assuming, is that right? She's the one that he interviewed her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why he's
This guy, poor guy.
I was looking at you, my son, poor guy.
Overtime.
Get ready, man.
Are you related to the other officer, Briscoe?
My twin brother.
Is it?
So I understand, yeah.
Hey, he made a sacrifice.
Your brother's the one that went through all the shit.
Yeah, he went through some stuff.
Still is.
You're the one
It's not finished, it's still on, it's ongoing.
So you were here him that went through all that shit.
That's my brother.
Okay.
And I was working the bridge the whole time.
Yeah. I think I spoke to you a few times there as well.
I was down there.
Well, and you saw I mean, maybe it depends what time. I was there quite often, but it was pretty peaceful. You know, and there was a lane open the entire time. We made sure of it.
No, that's the problem.
That's not
true.
true.
They should have left one lane open.
Well, they did. When I showed up from Ottawa, when I came back from
They
Ottawa,
blocked it. I was there, man. They blocked it.
I was there every day.
You got truck drivers that are driving hours and hours are stuck in limbo.
Dempsey Road.
That's
all
what
the way
they
down
went
to
wrong.
the bridge. Blocked.
Yeah, that's what they did. They
blocked by who?
There's at least
Not the truckers,
there's at least a dozen vehicles that ended
people.
up blocked.
I was there every day.
So was I. The right lane was open. It was the police barricades.
They gave him a lane. That changed. The barricades went up after he was arrested and started moving everybody out.
Yeah.
But there was members of the public blocked everything.
Everything was
It was
blocked.
like 2 o'clock in the morning or something when they blocked everything.
If they would have left
2 in the morning?
one lane open on either side, then we might have been there a little longer.
Because they're working out. I can't remember who they're communicating with, but okay, guys, I know you guys are upset. We want to keep one lane open, and then somebody else came in, other people, and blocked the northbound lane.
The Mennonites, yeah. Well, and we were the group of people that came from Ottawa, rushed back because we saw this was happening, and we cleared out that lane.
Ottawa, there was no blocking of infrastructure.
No.
So it's different.
No. But the same end result, ironically.
I don't agree with blocking infrastructure. It's good to go work. Right?
Sure. And that's what we were working hard to make sure that didn't happen. But the injunction was going to go through anyway. And as something with your brother, you know, you can see that regardless of opinion, that's a clear indicator when we're in a country that's supposed to be free and you donate a nominal amount of money to something that's legal and you get the full
subjective part of the whole thing. It's subjective. So
the legalities.
Yeah, that's why it's
proven now, right? It's come out in the courts.
We'll see. There's another hearing coming up. We'll see. They'll all come up and watch eventually.
They might try to steamroll him, but I hope he knows maybe at some point. Do you have conversations with him? Are you on good terms? Well, I would hope. Good. Good. Well, can you let him know that he does have people that care about him and support him?
He'll support. He's back to work full time. He's been back to work. Like he's only off work for 6 months. Good. He's been back to work the whole time. And he's put this whole thing in the back of his mind. It is what it is. He's dealt with it. He obviously doesn't like being in the media and scrutinized, but he's dealt with it. And he's made peace with it, and whatever happens, happens. So right now he's just like, I just want to work. I just want to support my family. That's what he wants to do. He's got young kids, and that's what he does for. So he's the same person as I am, really. The same ideals.
The question I have is then
He did by 3 minutes.
the rhetorical. The rhetorical question I have is, did that moment in time, or what has happened, make him crawl into a shell of what will be conformity for the next mandates, let's say, that happens? Or will it have helped bolster?
My brother is a man of principle to his own detriment. So nothing will do anything. He's a man of principle. And if he feels that it's not, and it can hurt him sometimes because he's very outspoken. But no, he's a resilient person. If he sees something wrong, he'll speak his mind. And that's just who he is. And the problem is that I'm always painted the same brush. So if you see him, I'm the same one. Like, so we'll see what happens in the end with him. I support him regardless. Like,
That's your brother.
He's my twin brother. He's my family, so I gotta support him. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a family man. What can I say about him? Right?
Well, and all the more reason, if he's a family man, this is probably burning in his mind as well, if he knows of it.
Sure it is. It's burning all of our minds, but we can't do this.
Well, a lot of parents don't know though, right? They think they hear the voices that go, look, there's nothing overtly sexual. It's just teaching love. Love is love, right? And parents go, oh, obviously there's oversight you must be telling the truth. Love is love. But how far does that expression go? You have Mambla that says the same thing. If you've heard of that term, Mambla.
No, I don't think I'm
Mambla, men, basically, no, Mambla is a group. We won't get into Mambla right now.
What is that? What are you talking about?
Mambla, I can't remember it's an acronym. Men that love boys,
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and try to normalize it, which is why that's why they call it minority attracted people now instead of pedophiles, right? They're trying to normalize this type of behavior.
Yeah, we know they're all.
People like all of them up there.
We know they're all like that. We know.
Yeah.
We know, but brother. We can come here in droves, but it's okay to have insurance and all that, but they warned us twice. It got out of hand. You got out of hand.
I don't think I got out of hand.
Yes, you did. You attacked somebody's fucking gambling problem. This is not the place to do that. You're a good man. I hear good things about you. I don't even know you. Well, my name's Benny. How's that? Steve, nice to meet you, Steve. You're a good man. I hear good things about you. Your heart's in the right place. All of our hearts are in the right place. But you don't bring that shit up.
You're right. Right? There's a time and place for everything. And I'm not necessarily defending that. But the time that I chose to say it was right after they kicked us out. They said, we're done. That's when I said it. I wanted to say it earlier.
You don't see it. You talk about the Bible. You're wearing I like the shirt. You talk about that stone.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking hurled it pretty good. Okay, that's the stone we gotta put away. We all gotta fucking put that stone away.
I hear you.
But I support you.
I
support you. I do. I support you because you got balls. We need more people with balls. You just gotta leave that.
I'm finding my way.
Good.
I'm trying. I'm also human, right? I'm subject to my emotions like everyone else.
I'm not condemning you at all, but I'm just saying, man, yeah, that was you went too far.
I hear you.
Okay.
I hear you.
But no, it's good though, like that you guys.
A few people have said the same.
We're all here for this. We're all here for the same reason because what they're doing is unbelievable.
Oh, we care.
I'm a child youth worker. Well, I'm retired now. I see this shit all the time. I work with suicidal youth. I used to work with suicidal youth. Transgender, all kids coming through the doors. I know all that shit. And it's not good. Especially what they're doing, what they're teaching the kids those books. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Every parent should be up in arms.
Absolutely.
Every parent should be up in arms.
But like I was saying, they nullify. It's just like the rainbow, right? They nullify it with happy pictures and gestures and say, well, no, we're teaching kids to not bully. We're teaching kids to have acceptance and inclusion, which is why they call it SOGI, right? Just sexual orientation. So kids are not making fun of someone. But if we don't address the root problem, right? If a child has an issue, if they feel a certain way, it needs to be addressed in a soft, gentle, non-bullying way, but to address the problem and try to help the child, not provide them an avenue to crash the car. You know what I mean? Not give them the keys. Well, Well, right, and keep secrets from parents, which is the, you know, one of the main things that they are pushing for, have pushed for.
Yeah, that's what they.
And that's, you know, why I think most of these parents, yeah, exactly. That's why you and most of these parents are here. Yeah. No, it's,
See what they're gonna do.
yeah. I'm sure he's gonna go talk to Ron or Hatfield or, yeah. Well, that's why I say things like you gotta look in your soul.
She just likes to hear herself talk. That's basically what it looks
Burgess, yeah.
Oh,
I really hate to say it. That's why you made notes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's, you know, it just comes out.
I like how she brought up the woke thing herself.
Yeah.
Being presumed to be woke. Oh, they are woke. They're a woke board. That's for sure.
All right, brother. Well, I'm glad I met you.
Benny, it was nice meeting you too.
You're a good man.
I try.
You're not. Are you kidding me? You think I don't fuck up? I fall flat on my face every day. Let's go on.
That's the thing. We just got to get back up.
I know.
All right.
All right, man.
You have a great one.
I'm just gonna take a this and I'm gonna come back.
I'm going to pause this if possible. I don't know if I can.
So,
I don't know if I can pause this here.
yeah, well, I thought, this is my, I thought if you identify as a cat, shouldn't you be going to the Humane Society? But no, he went to the women's shelter because it's far more interesting and entertaining. Obviously, we want to have some evening entertainment. And as far as
Want to give Menzies a copy of this?
Well, it's not mine to give though.
The James.
maybe just look up custody and it came here.
Sorry, Brian.
Started to disappear around there. I mean, he could be identifying a dog or a lamp. I know that's what I can't find him.
Well, you know, hopefully he identifies.
Well, that's a good one, but I got a better one for you because I know somebody whose kids after school, they've got two girls that identify as cats. The principal came into the classroom, said they were not allowed to play them, that they were protected, they weren't doing anything wrong, to leave them alone. Meanwhile, these girls are running around in the parking lot or in the playground and chasing the kids. So a few of the mothers said that they were going to come up with a plan. So at Halloween, they're not allowed to wear costumes. Yeah, and kids aren't allowed to wear costumes at Halloween anymore. Some places they call it Black and Orange Day. So one of them said she was going to paint her kid's face orange and put a fish bowl on and say, yeah, what's a fish? Oh, that would be great. But then, yeah. So I said, you know what, this is funny. Parents have to stand up and they just send all their kids at Halloween in a variety of costumes. And if they say anything, they say, I identify as a fish. I identify as a postman. I identify as a nurse. And they can't.
You know what, folks? Isn't this a benchmark of where we are? Well, you know what? So you like identify as a called the case of the whole district school board got here as a woman, grotesque caricature of a woman, which is a big press farce. But you set up temporarily.
Yeah, we just have to stop accepting it and stop giving them the attention that they're asking for. We need to stop accepting this. Promoting it. You're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, and all it is you're saying, say no, stop giving them the press.
Probably be at the meeting. That's what I would know. Everything else is not.
So right down the end of the hall, right up to the doors.
It's because if they get their. Have you heard this new Genesis album? It sounds a lot like Pink Floyd. Bob Marley? Just waiting for us to finish.
Women are last. And I think that the best person is women. Yes, yes.
The one behind the, it looks like a cocaine on there. Dark side of the moon. It's like,
Brown and he was supporting each
my
other.
propaganda Six is great.
The meeting's happening. You know, they want you.
Card.
Last second, yeah, we have a second, you're still, you know, you're still a woman. And that's. As far as I'm concerned.
Gonna move my car because it's probably already moved with a ticket or with towing. I'm not sure.
If you already got the ticket, you know, just leave it there. Or do they give you another one?
I don't think so. Then again, are the police here ticketing or are they here just waiting? Or they call the bylaw?
Hey, you know what? Just takes one.
Be right back.
Wait, you gotta ask him. Can you get back in? He wants to move his car. No.
No, they're gonna be starting it back up. Thank you. I just didn't know if my car was still gonna be here. I guess they're gonna start the meeting back up is what someone just said. I'm not sure if where are the meters that where you can park?
Where did you park?
We'll see CTV park there. Just so we know, CTV park there and there's no ticket on their car, so I'm not expecting a ticket on my car.
I don't see a meter over there.
Well, there's not one where I am. It just says 15-minute limit up until 6, but it's after 6 now. So, okay, we're good. Hopefully they'll let me back in there. Yep.
Let us back in. They're really gonna
The guy said he would. That's why, only reason why I came out. No, I think they're still there. Thank you.
Wait,
I don't know. It's after 6 now, so it's okay.
is that it?
It's still there, so whether it has a ticket on, it's not going to change anything now.
No, I know, but do they have a ruling after 6?
Yeah, the sign says 15-minute parking, except after 6 is okay.
All right. Very safe.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, I go spent like $4.
Oh, jeez.
No more than $4.
Sorry, you guys have to endure this if you're watching still. This is probably the boring part. But due diligence has to be done. Yep, absolutely. What are they saying?
Well,
I heard
the
him
one guy came
talking. I
up.
went to the bathroom and they had the meeting going on. So I could hear I could hear the trustee on the phone talking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's over. He just said it was over. I heard her say, I oppose. You know how they had two trustees on the phone?
Yep.
Well, when I went to the ladies' room, I could hear it. And at first I thought, what is that? And then I just stopped and listened, so.
Holding it behind closed quarters
Yes,
while they're
that's what they
here.
did. That's what they did. And
That's
the
what they
police
like to-
officer just came and said the meeting's been adjourned.
Oh, nice.
So we're leaving. Take care, everybody.
You too. Take care. So they finished the meeting behind closed doors.
They had the meeting properly there.
So it looks like they did have finished the meeting like cowards behind closed doors, like they usually do. They go back in their little rooms and they make rulings and move forward with that. And then they utilize that saying it's the law, right? They say, because of policy, we've made these decisions, which were predetermined, like today, in my opinion, wrongly. And then they base the next meeting off of these immoral decisions they made today, just like they did last time. At some point, they're going to have to answer to what they're doing. So I guess the meeting is adjourned now. It's over. They've already left. See, all of them are gone now, so. Did he? He just wanted to see who's left, I guess, eh?
But you're right too. Children, right, so you know what would be.
Eventually, we all gonna have to answer and be judged. And these people are on the record, not only in private, but literally on the record, where anybody, all parents can go back and take a look at the board meeting videos and see the things Linda said, which were not illegal. They were not against policy. They might be offensive because that's arbitrary. But sometimes opposition offends. That's the whole point of being opposition. You go against the conformity of consensus. And that's what we're here for, the truth trumpet, to spread the truth, speak the truth, and be opposition to the tyranny that's clearly infested policy and boards and trustees. And we will. And thanks to David Menzies for having the energy to hop around everywhere and get news out to thousands, if not millions of people. Give a shout out and appreciation to Rebel News, even though we might not agree with some of the things on the back end of the finances, perhaps, but David Menzies' reporting is always interesting, fun, and factual to watch. So let's speak to Jeremy in a sec once he's off the phone and get his final take, and then we'll wrap it up. Here.
You know why he's here?
Yeah.
You know why he's here? His original story.
Freedom, Stephen? Jeremy,
He's just trying to do his thing, like, kind of has to be legal.
do you have, Jay, do you have one sec?
Oh. I mean, there's so many.
Oh, yeah. Well, Christie agreed with mine. I mean,
So we're gonna let Jay speak to whatever reporter that is. It's probably CBC because they don't usually record anything. They just write it down on paper and choose choice quotes. At least that's the impression I've had when speaking with them myself. It's rarely ever a camera with CBC. They just want to interpret and write how they choose through the editing cutting room floor. So I'm going to sign out, guys, because this is just parents here talking and me rambling on. So this is Steve Gifford reporting for the Truth Trumpet at the Greater Essex District County School Board meeting that was canceled, adjourned, and finished in private behind those doors because they were too afraid to speak in front of Linda and a public that oppose their grooming of the children in all public schools and Catholic schools as well. Make no mistake, my words are sincere, real, and factual. The board is grooming the children, and lives will be detrimentally affected for the remainder of these children's lives unless all of us parents become aware of the curriculum and advocacy of wokeness that they're thrusting upon these kids, speak up, or what I feel, more importantly, remove your children from the devil's den, which is the public school anyway. There is barely any real curriculum being taught anymore. Remove them. There are better options. Even if you have to sacrifice a little, the payoff in the future will be so much greater. I promise. My promise doesn't matter. God promises this very thing. And all you have to do is have a little faith. And on that note, I bid you adieu. And remember, no matter who you are, where you are, and what you believe in, you are always loved.